Good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good evening, or good night. This is Jen at Jen's Arty Inclinations, a place to create, share, and play.
Hello everyone, getting back to our Filling a Junk Journal series, and I had this envelope which had this lovely illustration on it. So I knew I wanted to use it in my journal. So this is what I came up with. Firstly, I shortened it and I decided that the envelope flap would be what would wrap around behind the page to stick it down. Then I made it more narrow, and what that gave me was this lovely little piece that would flip down, and here I'm just trimming the top so that it sits within the border of the other piece. All right, that is the construction. It'll flip out and then that piece will flip down. Now I just wanted to taper that so it was a little bit more narrow as well, rounding the corners, and that's the basic structure for how I'll sit it in my book. So just putting the envelope flap underneath, and then when we flip it back, it will be able to flip out, and then that little piece that we've just trimmed a little bit off the edges will flip down. So now it's just a matter of doing the rest of the structure. I thought it would be cute to have a little journaling spot in that bottom bit so that when it flips down, you'll actually see that there as journaling space just to add a little bit of interest. Then it's, of course, inking all the edges. Now, rather than a thumb hole, I decided that I would just glue a little tab. So I had punched out this little half whale towel, and on the back it was just plain white, so I just inked it up a little bit. That's my salvage patina, and then putting some walnut stain over it with my ink dauber, and I've simply stamped a number on the front and back, and voila, then it's just gluing it down to that little inside piece that we're flipping down. Then I took it to my sewing machine and I just sewed around the outside piece, because I didn't want to embellish too much on the outside of the envelope. I wanted that to actually be able to be seen and have a very simple embellishment on it. So now I'm just preparing my page, adding a little bit of colour with just a touch of salvage patina around the edge, very, very lightly. And then all I did was I just glued a piece of lace across the top on the outside and just a couple of labels, and that was really honestly all it needed, and that worked for my little flip out. So I've just put a little label at the top, just a little label in underneath the lace there, and now all I have to do is glue that envelope flap underneath, and that's the flip out. So that structure is now all ready and works quite well. So there you are, flipping out. And then you see the little tab, and so you know to flip it down, and there's the little extra journaling space. So before I forget, I decided that I would cover the back, and all I did was I used a piece of scrapbook paper that I had. It's one of Sam Poole's. So underneath I just marked the edges against the actual page. So just using my pencil, and then that gave me a guide to cut that piece out, that it could be glued underneath, and that covers up that envelope flap so that you can't see that it's there. Just checking it fits, and it seemed to fit very nicely and still open quite easily. So rounding the corners, inking the edges, doing a little thumb hole in the pocket on the other side there. There we are, inking the edges and just gluing it in. So now all I have to do is glue the bottom pocket there. Decided I'd do a little bit of decoration. This is that stencil that we used on those front couple of double spreads. So that kind of carries that theme through the book. Little label, and then just gluing the edge of the pocket in. And that is another couple of double pages finished, because luckily I had a little journal card already done. So all I did was I just rounded off the corners. But here you are, all finished with the little envelope flip out down, I guess. a flip-flop. And there you are. There's the inside as well with that little journal card. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw today. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you next time. And in the meantime, keep creating. Enjoy!